Making headlines this hour, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu says that there will be no room for destructive ideologies if national interests are prioritized. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu says the government aims to complete all promised development projects by the second quarter of 2028. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu says that prosperous nations are built by strengthening transparency and maintaining a strong commitment to innovation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiza Abdul Sattar. Now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu says that there will be no room for destructive ideologies if national interests are prioritized.
The president made the statement while speaking at a ruling PNC rally in Ukulas Alif Alif Atoll. In his remarks, the president said one of his government's key promises was to bring peace and stability to the country. He said the government's policy is to move away from revenge politics and adopting a mindset focused on national benefit. The president argued that putting the country first is essential, but said this is lacking in the current political environment. He accused some political groups of prioritizing their own interest over the country and attempting to disrupt national peace. He also accused the opposition of attempting to create unrest and urged citizens to recognize such attempts, learn from the past, and make informed judgments. Reflecting on the past, the president said previous government's action should be examined based on evidence and truth, and urged citizens and leaders to take personal responsibility and develop a national mindset to ensure the country's progress and stability.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu says the government aims to complete all promised development projects by the second quarter of 2028.
Speaking at a rally held by the ruling People's National Congress PNC in Ukulas Alif Alif Atoll, the president said the government is carrying out development projects while also working to strengthen the economy after inheriting a difficult economic situation. Highlighting Ukulas projects, he said development projects are progressing at different stages as promised, including the addition of 2 hectares of land to help address the island's housing shortage. Noting Ukulas's growth in local tourism, the president said he had met with tourism business owners of the island and listened to their concerns. While the island's beach protection work is one of their concerns, the project's Environmental Impact Assessment EIA will be completed. The project will kick off within the next 2 months, he said. The president further said in addition to Ukulas, development projects are ongoing nationwide. He said major land reclamation, housing and infrastructure projects are underway across the Maldives, and these projects are ongoing alongside efforts to strengthen an economy that was ailing when the administration took over. The government is also supporting young people and women through loans and other economic opportunities to improve livelihoods. President Muizzu said development projects in the island include both general nationwide projects and projects promised specifically to individual islands as pledged during the presidential campaign. He assured that all projects will reach completion by the second quarter of 2028. According to statistics provided by the president in his Independence Day speech, 590 projects have been completed during the administration's 2 years and 8 months, with a total of 1,635 projects currently under implementation. By comparison, he said 285 projects were completed during the same period by the last MDP administration and 321 projects during the administration before that.
Construction work commences on the project to develop 50 housing units in Alif Alif Ukulas, with Altec Maldives Private Limited contracted to carry out the project, which was launched during President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's visit to the island.
The foundation stone for the project was laid at a special ceremony held in Ukulas by Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development Dr. Abdullah Muttalib and Altec Maldives Private Limited Manager Ibrahim Azim. Representatives of the Island Council and local institutions, as well as members of the public, attended the ceremony. The project was awarded to Altec Maldives on the 6th of November 2025. The company has been given 1 year and 7 months to complete the work. work. The 50 housing units being developed in Uculas will each have 3 bedrooms. In addition to the housing units being developed in the reclaimed areas of Uculas, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz announced during a visit to the island in August 2025 that 250 land plots would also be allocated from the reclaimed land. The housing project is being implemented in the reclaimed area of Uculas. A total of 13 hectares of land was reclaimed from the island in 2023. Uculas has a population of approximately 1,200 people. As part of ongoing development initiatives in Uculas, a contractor has also been appointed to establish a 5-ton ice plant on the island. The ice plant project was awarded to Lehi Construction and Trading Private Limited. The agreement was signed on behalf of the Ministry of Fisheries, Agriculture and Ocean Resources by State Minister Mohammad Muttalib.
Work begins on the sports complex being developed in Alif Alif Uculas, with the project launched during President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's visit to the island. To mark the commencement of work on the Uculas Sports Complex, the foundation stone was laid by Minister of Youth, Empowerment, Sports and Fitness, Abdullah Rafiu, Maldives Airports Company Limited MSCL Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director Ibrahim Sharif Muhammad, and Uculas Council President Ali Wahid. In addition to President Dr. Mohamed Muiz, Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif, Speaker of Parliament Abdul Rahim Abdullah, and Cabinet Ministers attended the ceremony. Maldives Airports Company Limited was entrusted with developing the sports complex in Uculas during President Dr. Muiz's visit to the island in August last year. The complex is among the sports facilities planned by the government to support the development of sports, establish sports infrastructure, and build a healthy and physically active society. It is being developed to accommodate a range of different sports. The Uculas Sports Complex will include an indoor gym, a dedicated exercise room for women, facilities for board games, a hall where several sports can be played, and a separate room for holding meetings. Subsequently, a new outdoor volleyball court developed by the government was also officially opened in Uculas. The court was developed under a project that commenced on 16th July. The Ministry of Youth, Empowerment, Sports and Fitness awarded the project to Proxy Group Private Limited. The project was completed at a cost of $88,143. The volleyball court has been developed with modern facilities, including a full lighting system that allows matches to be played at night. Amendments are proposed to the law that would allow the government to take over land that falls under the jurisdiction of local councils for the implementation of development projects.
The proposed amendment to the Decentralization Act of the Maldives was submitted by Tuladu parliamentarian Abdul Hanan Abu Bakr as an independent bill. According to parliamentarian Abdul Hanan Abu Bakr, the purpose of the bill is to establish a clear legal framework to ensure the full cooperation of councils in advancing government development projects efficiently and without unnecessary delays. He also stated that the amendment aims to streamline the procedures relating to land required for state development projects. Among the proposed changes is a provision allowing the Cabinet of Ministers to decide that land and locations under the jurisdiction of a council may be removed from that jurisdiction if they are required for a government development project. The bill further states that such land may be transferred to the government even before the physical development plan of the relevant island or city has been approved and brought into effect. The bill also requires councils to provide full cooperation when the government undertakes projects that serve the collective interests of the public within an island or city under their jurisdiction. It further specifies that councils must not take decisions or actions that, without valid justification, obstruct or delay such projects. The proposed amendment comes amid concerns raised by various government ministries that some island and city councils have failed to cooperate with certain government-led development projects. The government has stated that this lack of cooperation has prevented some projects from progressing at the required pace and has caused implementation delays.
President Dr. Mohamed Muiz says that prosperous nations are built by strengthening transparency and maintaining a strong commitment to innovation.
The president made these remarks while addressing the closing ceremony of the Small Island Developing States Supreme Audit Institutions or SIDS SAI Symposium and the opening of the Intisai Development Initiative or IDI Global Summit. President Dr. Muiz said that the foundation of genuine prosperity lies in strong institutions and that prosperity is strengthened through responsible financial management and transparent governance. He added that public trust in government is what sustains prosperity, making the role of state audit institutions critically important. The president also emphasized that every contribution to the state's finances by citizens and development partners must be spent for its intended purpose. He noted that accountability is not merely an administrative obligation, but a fundamental pillar of national progress. He further stated that in order to secure prosperous nations, strong democracies, resilient economies, and hopeful societies for future generations, countries must work with sincerity to enhance transparency, strengthen accountability, uphold openness, and remain firmly committed to innovation. Highlighting the challenges facing small island developing states, or SIDS, President Muiz said that many of these countries are managing debt while continuing to invest in their future. He noted that they must also be prepared to respond to unexpected crises while maintaining long-term development plans. At the same time, they face the challenge of sustaining economic growth while protecting vulnerable communities. The president further said that despite global uncertainty and external pressures, the Maldives remains committed to investing in its future while continuing to meet its financial obligations. Speaking about the future of governance, President Muiz said that digital transformation offers solutions to many of the challenges faced by countries such as the Maldives. In this regard, he said that the government's Maldives 2.0 initiative will help build a modern, citizen-centered digital state that delivers more accessible and efficient public services.
Auditor General and President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Maldives, Hussein Niazi, says Supreme Audit institutions play a vital role in helping countries achieve the Sustainable Development Goal (SDGs) by ensuring access to reliable information and strengthening accountability.
Niazi made the remarks during the closing ceremony of the Symposium of Supreme Audit Institutions or SAIs of Small Island Developing States or SIDS and the opening of the IDI Global Summit organized by the International Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions or Intisai. He said the role of Supreme Audit Institutions in supporting the development and progress of small island developing states extends well beyond traditional financial audits. Niazi noted that technical assistance provided through Intisai has significantly strengthened the capacity of audit institutions, while programs implemented by the Intisai Development Initiative or IDI have substantially enhanced their capabilities. He added that the IDI Global Summit would further improve the work of Supreme Audit institutions. Niazi, who inaugurated the symposium, said discussions focused on supporting the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, strengthening public financial management, and expanding the role of audit in environmental and climate-related matters. He said these efforts would directly contribute to improving the resilience of small island developing states, strengthening economic stability, and enhancing public welfare. He also highlighted the challenges facing small island developing states, including climate change, natural disasters, limited resources, and increasing pressure on development. The SIDS Supreme Audit Institution Symposium was held in Ukulas, Alif Alif Atoll from the 3rd to the 5th of August. It was jointly organized by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, or UNDESA, and the Auditor General's Office of the Maldives. The ceremony saw the launch of the Auditor General's Office Strategic Plan. Following the unveiling of the plan, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz addressed the participants. The SIDS SAI Symposium brought together supreme audit institutions from small island developing states to discuss the role of audit offices in assessing progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, and in auditing initiatives related to climate change and sustainable development. In addition, the IDI Global Summit will, over the following 2 days, focus on ways to further strengthen the audit institutions of small island developing states through collaboration and support from larger supreme audit institutions, with discussions centered on future capacity building and institutional development.
The Parliament formally approves the appointment of Tariq Ibrahim as the permanent representative of the Maldives to the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, following a unanimous vote.
The approval comes after President Dr. Mohamed Muiz nominated Tariq for the position, submitting the nomination to the legislature as required under the Constitution and the Foreign Service Act for appointments and international organizations. The Parliamentary Foreign Relations Committee conducted the requisite evaluation of the nomination and reported its favorable recommendation to the Parliament floor. Upon presentation to the parliamentary floor, members present voted unanimously in favor of endorsing Tariq's appointment. Tariq brings substantial relevant experience to the role. He previously served as the Minister of Environment in the current administration and currently holds the post of Ambassador of the Maldives to the United Arab Emirates. His appointment succeeds Mohammed Hussein Sharif, the former UAE ambassador who previously held the IRENA permanent representative position. The International Renewable Energy Agency, or IRENA, established in 2009, is an intergovernmental organization supporting countries in their transition to sustainable energy. The Maldives has been a member state of IRENA since its founding year. The agency now comprises 169 member countries in addition to the European Union.
The Bank of Maldives, BML, updates the payout terms for its recently introduced investments service, confirming that both the principal investment and returns under its high-yield US dollar pool scheme will now be dispersed directly in US dollars.
The investment product, initially launched on the 30th of June, allows the public to invest foreign currency into dedicated pools, offering profit yields of up to 25%. Under the scheme's original structure, investors received the Maldivian rupiah, or MVR equivalent of their United States dollar principal immediately upon depositing, with profit payouts following in Maldivian rupiah the next day. In a recent policy update shared on social media, the Maldives National Bank announced a shift to direct USD payouts for both the invested amount and generated profits. However, BML clarified that upon full maturity of the investment, the original principal amount must be converted into Maldivian rupiah at the official exchange rate. According to the bank, the attractive yields, which reach up to 25%, are funded through BML's foreign exchange operations. Specifically, profits are generated from a 30% transaction fee imposed since last year on purchases made through designated foreign e-commerce platforms after deducting a 5% margin for administrative expenses. BML highlighted that over the past 5 years, the volume of United States dollars sold for international debit and credit card transactions has surged 3.7 times. The bank currently sells an average of $39.3 million per month to meet consumer demand for overseas services and e-commerce, with the total numbers of cardholders utilizing international transactions more than doubling in the same period.
Chinese maker BYD launches its first Brazilian-made plug-in hybrid flex fuel car, the Song Pro Super Hybrido Flex Fuel, following a 2-year, $19.5 million investment.
Built at the company's Kamacari plant in Bahia, the vehicle can run on electricity, gasoline, or ethanol and will reach Brazilian dealerships. The GL model offers 60 kilometers of electric-only range, while the higher-end GS version reaches 120 kilometers. BYD says the project was jointly developed by teams in Brazil and China, specifically for the Brazilian market. The launch supports BYD's shift from vehicle assembly to local production, helping it meet Brazilian regulations and increase local parts use above 50% by January 2027. The company also plans to produce batteries at the Kamacari factory. BYD is investing $1 billion in the plant, which is expected to make 180,000 cars this year and support Brazil as a regional export hub.
US President Donald Trump says that Iran had reached out requesting talks but warned that the country would face severe consequences and get hit very hard if negotiations failed.
Trump made the comments in an interview on Fox News at Night Show.
We hit them very, very hard, but the hard hit is yet to come, and hopefully we won't have to use it. I hope we won't have to. We're having very good discussions. They don't like to admit that, but it's a little bit disconcerting. You tell people like you, we're having wonderful discussions, and then some guy will come out of Iran and say, we have not met, we have not, it's just such a lie. All day long, you understand, it's just incredible.
Qatar said that mediators were making progress in efforts to end the U.S.-Iran war, driving oil prices lower, although Tehran has denied Trump's assertion that talks are already underway. The U.S. president's comments on Tuesday followed his weekend decision to cancel plans for what he described as massive attacks on Iran, extending a pattern in which he has threatened major military action before pulling back and pointing to diplomatic contacts.
Jordan Football Association President Ali bin Hussein launches a public attack on FIFA President Gianni Infantino, accusing him of blackmail and claiming FIFA offered to help solve the kingdom's problems in exchange for his endorsement.
Bin Hussein alleged that FIFA verbally communicated during the World Cup that endorsing Infantino would go a long way to helping our FA out after months of the World Soccer governing body refusing assistance on various matters. Reuters has contacted FIFA for comment on all allegations. His rebuke comes as Infantino faces growing opposition within soccer's hierarchy after the FIFA president was forced to abandon a controversial proposal to sell off a stake in the World Cup. Soccer confederations and national associations rejected the idea following a hard September 19th deadline imposed by the Swiss official. FIFA had argued that selling the minority stake in its commercial operations would raise billions of dollars to fund global sports development. FIFA Secretary General Matthias Kraftstrom and Arsene Wenger were among executives who distanced themselves from Infantino, with Bin Hussein saying there was a problem with the leadership. The Jordan FA chief outlined a number of grievances facing his association as a small nation with a minimal budget. These included fans paying exorbitant prices for tickets while still being denied visas for the World Cup in the United States, and outstanding reward money for players' participation in the 2025 Arab Cup, a FIFA-organized tournament. Adding to Jordan's woes, Bin Hussein complained about being taxed by the U.S. government through FIFA for World Cup participation, costs not faced by teams based in Canada and Mexico. Jordan qualified for the World Cup for the first time but exited in the group stage. The association has also been waiting since December for reward money for reaching the Arab Cup final in Qatar.
In his Lagos studio, Nigerian artist Emmanuel Olatunde transforms the way portraits are painted using clay sourced from the earth beneath his feet.
The 39-year-old multidisciplinary artist has developed a unique technique that turns natural clay into a full spectrum of paint colors, blending his background in science with his passion for art. Olatunde discovered his method while experimenting with clay during his art training in university. He noticed that when kneading clay, it adhered to canvas, sparking the idea that it could function as paint. Drawing on his chemistry knowledge, he began processing liquid clay, neutralizing its natural brown tone, and adding metallic oxides and binding agents to create vibrant hues. The result is richly textured clay paint portraits. Olatunde's journey to this innovation was shaped by an early dilemma, choosing between his love for clay and his desire to paint. Unwilling to abandon either discipline entirely, Olatunde found a way to merge them.
I've always loved clay. I've always had interest in clay. When I got to school, I started working with clay, and I was good with it. I was so good with it. Sculpture and ceramics, basically. They usually use them to create pots, sculpture pieces, right? But for me, as someone that wants to do painting, and I love clay, so I was in between choosing painting and ceramics or sculpture. So eventually, I went to painting.
His technique places him among a growing number of African artists embracing sustainable, eco-friendly materials that reduce environmental impact while pushing creative boundaries. But the innovation has not come without challenges. Olatunde says gaining acceptance in the art market for his unconventional medium remains an obstacle, though he is confident collectors and curators will soon recognize its potential. For now, he continues working one clay brushstroke at a time, sharing his process on social media and building an audience drawn into his fusion of tradition and innovation.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.